we have the NHLPA and NHL agreeing on a 24-team playoff format. So according to Chris Johnson from Sportsnet, I don't know if you've heard of him, the players' reps for all 31 teams agreed to, except 2 didn't, a 24-team return-to-play format that will see the top 4 seeds in each conference given buys directly into the playoffs, while the other 16 enter a best-of-5 round to determine their opponents, meaning, technically speaking, on NHL terms, you don't make it past that first round, they don't count it as the playoffs.
Very interesting.
Which is fair.
I am for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am for it.
Because you two are loser purists. We'll get to that in a second. Okay? So.
No, this is basically a...
Oh, no, we'll get to it in a second.
Sure,
no,
okay.
Just go over there and be a loser purist for now. Let me just explain this.
I will.
Right.
I will. I'll
kidding,
sit
I'm
in my
kidding,
room
I'm
of
kidding.
toys and be cool.
I'm kidding. So here are the things they have yet to agree on, and that's why I just want to round this one up quickly. First one, if a bracketed playoff format would be used, as is the NHL's preference, instead of seeding. So the players want it to be seeding. If you're Boston, if you're one of the top teams in the NHL, you don't want it to be a bracketed playoff because especially if you're Boston, you got a really, really good division. You want to play the worst possible team. You want the 70-odd games that you played to be worth something.
Mm-hmm.
The NHL is like, no, we want to do the dumb thing that everybody hates. And what does the NHL usually get? Its way. So we'll see what happens with that, but that's yet to be agreed on. This will also help determine what initial round robin games will be played between the top 4 seeds. Now, I have to talk about this because I actually had to text Chris Johnson this morning to see what he meant. It had been thought that they would use some of the downtime to allow some jockeying between positions. Precise mechanics need to be hashed out. So that means, okay, so if you are in the top 4, our thought was you get a buy into the playoffs. You don't play until the playoffs start. What the NHL is suggesting, and I'm going to read directly from this text message. Sorry, Chris. I hope you don't mind. And he loves this format, by the way.
I think we love any format right now.
Yeah. He said they get a buy into the next round, but the NHL wants to use the results of those games to help determine their seeding. Meaning, if you are 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the NHL right now, you have not earned that position. You will earn that in a round robin play while the other rounds are going on.
I like that. Wow.
And I think the teams would like that too because it gets them kind of moving and sharp.
Yeah, because you don't want those top teams to come into the playoffs and be like, hey, this team just played for the first time in 3 months and we didn't. So you get them started, you get their fresh legs, and then they get to play in. That's
I like
awesome.
that they play.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that Bruins fans there's no way they don't hate this. They must hate this.
Tampa, this is the reason Tampa voted against it. This was the specific reason Tampa voted against this format.
Well, and I'm surprised Boston didn't because Boston was 8 points up on Tampa, up on second in the Eastern Conference. So Philly is in this in this play-in too. Boston is
crazy. Philly's had a great year.
Yeah.
Philly. Oh, I know.
Unreal.
And they were 9-1. They were the hottest team in the National Hockey League before this all shut down. So Boston is in a play-in with a team they are 8 points up on, 10 points up on, and 11 points up on.
But they might not be first seed.
So, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Philadelphia was the hottest team in the league. They were 9-1 heading into it. Boston was 7-3. Philadelphia was not going to make up 11 points on the Boston Bruins. There was no situation.
No.
It wasn't going to happen.
No.
It was not going to happen.
They could have lost 12 straight.
For the Bruins right now. I'm fighting for the Bruins. They should be one no matter what. But they got to do something. They got to do something just because they were dominant. Like, I look at the West, and who are our teams? We got St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and Dallas. Even St. Louis, they were 12 points up on the Stars.
And they're in the same position. Well, look at this.
Are you joking?
I don't hate it because it's okay. Boston was clearly the number 1 seed, so we're giving them the number 1 seed in the top seeds bracket. You know?
We're not. They have to earn it.
No. In their little thing, they're the first seed in that little thing.
So they get home ice advantage or something.
You get home ice advantage in a place that's not your home, and it doesn't really matter at all. But still, you get last change. That's something. you get the
For
far
a couple
end,
games.
the far end of the bench. Like that's fun. So whatever.
Jesse's right that there is something, but what is proposed is so close to being really cool and really okay. And they're just missing it by just a little. For example, so I'm looking at this on sportsnet.ca. Pittsburgh versus Montreal, winner plays the 4 seed. Carolina versus the Rangers, winner plays the 3 seed. Islanders versus the Panthers, winner plays 2 seed. Toronto versus Columbus, winner plays the 1 seed. Who is playing who? I have no problem with. Toronto should probably be playing Columbus, Islanders, Florida, blah, 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 blah. Let's say, coming out of the play-in, the teams that make it are Toronto, Florida, the Rangers, and Montreal. Toronto is 8th, Florida's 10th, Rangers are 11th, Montreal's 12th. What are the Leafs doing playing the number 1 seed, regardless of who it is? Let's say it's not Boston, which would be even funnier because it's them getting jobbed out of their spot too. What are the Leafs doing as the top seed out of the play-in teams playing the top seed? Why? Why can't you reseed that? Why not? You can do whatever you want. You literally decide it, talk about it, and there it is on paper. You can do whatever you want. Why would you decide on this? Why would you decide on the winner of Toronto-Columbus arbitrarily playing the top seed? Let's say it's Columbus. Forget Toronto. Let's say they beat the Leafs. Let's say all 4 of the teams that weren't in a playoff spot that are playing in win. Let's say it's Columbus, Florida, Rangers, Habs. What are the Blue Jackets doing playing the top seed? They're the best team that won their play-in. Why are they playing the best team that didn't have to? It makes no sense. Montreal, if they win, should be playing whoever the top seed is, regardless.
Boston.
Boston. And then you get Montreal-Boston. Hooray. Like that, I don't understand in terms of fairness why you have to do that.
So here's the wild part, is there's a ton of teams that have done extremely well that will not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like teams
at all.
Like at all. Because there are going to be upsets in that first round, the new first round. There's now 5 rounds.
Pittsburgh might miss the playoffs.
Well, and so here's the fun part. First off, Steve, I'm surprised you're sticking up for Boston when Toronto has finally got their revenge, because the NHL splits its head offices between Toronto and New York. It is very clear that Toronto has now screwed Boston because they may not be the number 1 seed. After all that hard work in the regular season, Toronto finally got one over on Boston, and you should be happy and proud.
The Toronto offices would not screw themselves into a scenario where they finally make the playoffs in a season where they probably weren't going to play Boston in the first round, and now they'll have to play Boston in the first round.
Yeah, well, that's what the NHL wants. Also, because the NHL doesn't care about ratings beyond they don't care about ratings beyond the first round.
The NHL should want both the Leafs and Bruins to make it to the second round.
No.
Why?
Because no. Because best.
What I've learned is nothing matters.
Nothing does matter, man.
Nothing matters.
Now, there was never going to be a perfect scenario for this, right? We can agree on that.
Yes.
There's never going to be something that somebody didn't get sort of screwed.
Right.
And if you had gone with particularly the fair scenario, and I know we've talked about this before, but I think it's important that we bring this up. If you have a fair tournament for 20 teams, you don't have New York, Chicago, or Montreal. That's why it's happening.
Mm.
That is the fair. If you wanted to do it, you do 20 teams. That's what you do. But if you don't have the television revenue from New York, Boston, and Montreal, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the broadcasters, and it's going to hurt you. It's your only money. So, of course, they're going to do this.
Pittsburgh might be knocked out of the playoffs in a mini series by a team they were 15 points up on.
Oh, that's fun. That sounds like a fun
Oh,
time.
it's fun.
I'm jacked.
You know?
They were 7.5 wins up on, or 15 losses.
And you tell Sidney Crosby, don't lose. That's
Yeah.
it. Just don't let Montreal beat you.
You seen The Last Dance? You want to be the greatest? Okay.
Yeah, there you go.